Hi, welcome back guys. This is your friend, the What If guy, back with another fanfiction. This is the first part of What If Super-Armed Issei got Harem. Now before starting, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. Now let's get into the fanfic. Issei, I bet that monsters nowadays least expect facing a knight in a complete suit of armor coming at them with medieval weaponry. It's actually funny to see a regular axe doing the job better than an actual holy sword of light. Me and another friend are in a warehouse in our suits of armor, about to kill this spider person that had been trying to eat people. Judging from the smell, I think she ate someone's pets. Specifically rabbits. I hate rabbits. Heard her name is Visser, informs my friend, apparently a rogue spider demon. Doesn't matter. I reply, just kill it. My friend sighs before walking up to the wounded Visser. She glares at him but he doesn't respond. He raises his battle axe then swings down. Visser's head rolls around on the floor. Just then I sense a few familiar energy signatures. Too late. Victor. I say to my friend, we got company. Great, he sighs, and all I wanted to do is fight monsters. Not much else to say. I look to find a certain group of schoolmates with black bat wings flying down. A mature red-headed foreigner, a buxom girl with raven hair in a ponytail, a pretty boy blonde, and a petite white-haired girl. Victor is ready to toss an axe at them but I hold his hand down. Myrmidons, said the confused redhead, what are Myrmidons doing in demon territory? Don't say that. I shrug, lived here all my life. Then that? I point to the decapitated spider monster. And others like it decided to make a mess in my neighborhood. I did what any person would. Pest control. Issei, says Victor, let's go. We don't need to say anything to them. DMN it, Victor. I yell at him, you just told them my name. Victor places his hand over his mouth. With my name out there I have no choice. I flip the visor of my helmet, letting them see my face. Rias senpai. I say to the redhead and leader. Akino senpai. I say to the raven head and second in command. Kiba senpai. I say to the blonde. And Kaneko-san, I say to the white-haired girl, we're not here to start anything. I gesture towards Victor who nods. He casts a fire spell over the monster's corpse and we unsummon our armor, revealing our outfits underneath it. We leave. Kiba as my underclassman Issei and his partner Victor leaves. Rias, our school club president, looks troubled. Ucho, I ask, what are Myrmidons? Rias frowns. Kipkin? They're humans. Dangerous humans. My brother Surzex said that they fought in the biblical war and did as much damage as the dragons on all sides. Beeb, I sputter, that's impossible, she mutters. I know. But he keeps saying that they're dangerous even if you can't detect anything from them. A seasoned veteran alone could go toe-to-toe with a high-class devil or angel with a 50-50 chance of winning. I look to the stray devil Visser. Even though she's now just a pile of charcoal, I could tell from the wounds and the inside of the warehouse that it was one-sided and brutal. Bothered, I grip tighter on the sword in my hand. How dangerous is Issei? Issei Ko Academy is a demon school, owned and controlled by devils. It also happens to be a prominent private school that just became co-ed from middle school to college level. With scholarships to entice more boys, I thought Victor would enroll also, but he just shrugged and said, meh. Today I am tired. Last night we destroyed a man-eating spider demon and I am not in the mood to listen to our far-right history teacher rag on our neighbors on the other side of the Pacific. We lost. We know. I bet that if Victor did come here, Mr. Imperialist would hound my poor American friend with questions. Time passes and eventually the prince, aka the most handsome and popular guy in school, Kiba Yudo, approaches me during lunch break. His entrance makes all the girls gush over him. Some squeal, others are giddy. Besides being a Myrmidon, I try to live a normal life as much as possible. He talking to me just kicks up a hornet's nest. Issei-san, can you come with me? I nod. Already I hear yaoi fangirls mumbling. Not even the gay people I know do what they're describing. We don't talk on the way to the old schoolhouse, the place where the occult research club is. Kiba Yuto, I believe, is a swordsman, judging from his stance and how he tightens his fist like he was holding an imaginary sword. You a swordsman? I ask as we near the ORC club room. How did you know? He says, narrowing his eyes. You look like one. And you? Same. We don't talk again until after we enter the room. Kiba, we enter the club room. Issei is still an enigma to me. I just feel uncomfortable around him, like he could kill us at any time. People so powerful with no known motivations sitting right next to you is unsettling. It's tense. Sigmar. This is a nice room. Sigmar. I know the room is well decorated and furnished, giving off a Victorian/1920s feel, but what kind of reaction is that? Who is Sigmar? I ask. Someone all Myrmidons try to be more like. Issei frowns and mutters something before looking up. Rias, Akino, and Kaneko enter the room from the back door. Issei-kun, smiles Rias, glad that you agreed to see us. He nods. Senpais, how are you? Fine. Smirks Akino, flirty as ever. Not as much as you are, Issei-kun. 3, anyways. Rias hand waves. Would it be a problem if you could explain yourself? The air get tenser. I'm ready to summon my swords, but he starts chuckling. Ask away, answered Issei. Fine. What are your goals here? Rias asks. Get an education. College. Get a good job and start a family. Fight bad guys. Fight bad guys. Stray devils, evil mages, aggressive vampires, rogue exorcists. Bad guys. Our whole shtick is that we go after those who hurt others. Can you tell me about Myrmidons? Humans who train and are equipped to fight bad guys. Otherwise, we just live normal lives. That's it. That's it. Really? Yeah, really. Then what about Victor? Him. He's married. What? But he's... Okay, he says, hands out. The one thing I didn't mention is that we marry young. How young? I ask. I'm supposed to have already popped the question already. He shrugs. That is young. Baka Victor, he mumbles. Him and that dragoness making me look bad. What? What? We all yell. How did he manage that? Said a wide-eyed, still stoic Kaneko. Family finds egg. Issei sighs. Dragon egg. Adopted. Human form. Broken. Should I say more? We shake our heads. Good, he say before looking in his watch. Rias senpai, since we're done here, may I please leave? Lunch break's almost over. Rias smiles. Sure thing. Oh, and Issei, would you like to join our little club? He looks into space in thought before nodding. Sure. But let me think about it first. He exits through the front door and I walk towards the 3 girls. I just don't feel right about him even if he explained everything. Bucho, I ask, why do you want to bring him in? That's because I've been observing for some time. He seems nice. Era. Akino purrs, you're into younger men, aren't you? No, he just caught my eye one day and he showed promise. Promise to be your boyfriend. I never said that, she glares, face red. Cute. The raven hair pouted, our president has love at first sight. No, I don't. She does. Rias Gremory is crushing on a Myrmidon. Victor, as a friend of Issei, I try to answer his phone's calls as often as possible. Nichan. Lunch is almost ready. I'll be there in a minute. Barring my time with Ryuki. Never understood why our parents name her something so Asian since she's a Western dragon from Italy, but I doubt she'd change. Given her heritage, she's taller than me, she's above 6 feet, I'm actually a runt just a few inches above 5. Everywhere we go people gawk at her very adult, SSL form, again because she's a dragon. I get a text talking about his talk with the Gremory girl. I'll contact him later. I live alone with my wife as I get a stipend from Myrmidia as the representative and guardian of the city. Our parents are in the Himalayas training the next generation of Myrmidons. I sit down with Ryuki at the table, she holding her breath as I try her first attempt at Japanese cooking. I take a bite of the tempura. I smile, it's good. Giddy, she hugs me over the table. I reciprocate. We start eating. Everything seems fine until she says something I wouldn't want to hear for years. Nichan, when can we have babies? I collapse dead. Nichan. N. Sigmar, what did I have to do to deserve this? Don't answer that. Issei, in some ways I'm lucky that I don't have a girlfriend yet. Myrmidon are old-fashioned and believed that 15 is the age of consent based on how kids that young fought in wars centuries ago. My cell phone rings all of a sudden. It's a number that I don't want to answer. Yes, cuz, I struggle to say to my otaku cousin. For the love of Sigmar, why didn't you tell me you slept with the Gremory clan's daughter? I did not sleep with her. I growled. Then what about that psychic Aegis? How could I even have NTR Cirrus with a psychic robot? Besides, I heard she's taken. Tsunako. I am friends with a mafia princess. Even holding hands would get a stick dynamite shoved up my butt. Saika. I'm not gay. Madoka. She's gay. Then what about that girl thing? For Sigmar's sake, I was 7. I didn't even know there was such a thing called section. I hang up to see people in the street looking at me. What are you looking at? I growl, making everyone disperse. Except one. A black-haired girl with purple eyes and an aura that read fallen angel. Myrmidon. I glare, don't even try. She gulps and walks away stiff. Someday I'm going to get that hikikomori. Someday. Victor, Nichan. I wake up groaning. The clock says I was out for a couple hours. A familiar killing intent woke me up. Issei sure hates his cousin, doesn't he? I grumble. Nichan, you're alive. Of course I am. Thank God. Ryuki. Sorry, she pouts. Thanks, Sigmar. Oh, and Ryuki. Any calls while I was out? Just one. More stray devils. I get up. This is serious. Where? What kind? How many? City outskirts, humanoids numbering 20, they seem to be after an ex-nun with a sacred gear. Sacred gears? Why did God give random humans supernatural items? Ryuki, did you send anyone? Issei was close. I nod. Thank you, Ryuki, I smile. I've always loved that dependable side of you. Thank you, Anichen. Anyways, back to the topic about babies. I died again. Nichan. N. Issei holding my hands is a European girl, a thin blonde slightly younger than me. I had arrived just in time to prevent her from getting cut to pieces. Asia Argento, ex-nun with healing power derived from her sacred gear. I killed as many as I could with a bow before making off with the girl into the forest surrounding the city. Give us the girl. One screams. I answer with smacking him to the side with my longsword's pommel. Stay behind me. I yell to Asia. I materialize my armor as well as my shield in time to block a heavy-handed fist. I respond by chopping off the offending limb. The stray screams in pain as I finish him off with a swipe of my shield to the monster's neck. After a sickening crunching sound, I look to see that the remaining 10 circle us, some holding weapons, others wielding magic. The first to come at me raises his sword far to high. I stop him mid-swing by swatting the arm with my shield before stabbing him between the ribs. One down. The second charges me from behind. I elbow with my sword before throwing the body of his comrade at him. He loses balance before exposing his back. He dies through a stab in the back. 2 down. A third and fourth throw magic blasts at me. They miss. Another set. Glances over me shield. I toss my shield at one before using the now free arm to throw a tomahawk at her skull. She dies, followed by the other through another tomahawk. 4 down. The last 6 decide to just rush me all at once. I grip my long sword with both hands before channeling my power to it. When they are about to each me, I swing, making deep cuts in all 6. Soon after, I drop the sword as it glowed a hot red. 3 more down. The remaining 3 struggle to lift themselves as I conjure a lance. It isn't a wholly light spear, but I'm pretty sure it will hurt. Asia rushed and stood in front of the stray devils. Compassionate, sweet, too innocent for this world. She tries to find the good in everyone and everything. Now I know why she was kicked out of the church. It would be impossible to convince her. She is the kind that hates violence. I'm not going to. Asia, I say softly, I understand. I dematerialize most of my weapons and armor. keeping something hidden in my hand just in case. Sure enough, one taking advantage of my hesitation lunges at me but is stopped by none other than Rias and her group, holding a red ball of energy. You let down your guard too easily, she says. I pull out my revolver, hanging it up in the air on the trigger guard. Might as well impress them. Rias, I never thought Issei was that powerful or that dangerous. To hunt rogue demo or stray devils in such large numbers, I'm surprised. As we take the ex-nun to Victor's house, I keep glancing at Issei. I admit that he fascinates me. Aquino looks at me. What? Aquino, nothing. Arabucho has a thing for Issei-kun. Oh dear, I'm starting to like him that way too. And that way. And the other way. Kaneko candy. Ryuki Nichan and I are happily married. I want kids. He wants kids. Think. Then Issei came with the most adorable girl ever. Nichan, can we adopt her? Nichan. And, Nichan. And, oh wait, wrong person. Nichan. And, Nichan. There you go. Issei never saw that coming. Oh well. Sorry about that. I cough. Ryuki, these are my devil friends from Kuo Academy, Rias, Aquino, Kiba, and Kaneko. Guys, this is Ryuki. Mr. Drop Dead's dragon Imuto wife. Imuto, started Rias. Wife, finished Aquino. I nod. Don't let it bother you. Hey, pouted Ryuki, what's there to be bothered about? We're grown adults. I'm 50, Nichan's 52. Aquino-ne. Rias-ne. Kaneko-ne. Kiba-ne. No. I face palm. Kiba-ne. A/N. My first mostly non-crossover fanfic. Just thought this up and said, sure, why not? My idea was of a completely human faction with their own culture and abilities. Be warned, I'm not going to make him OP where he just has loads and loads of power. Issei is going to be strong because he is skilled. The Myrmidons are about skill, strategy over raw force. Best comparison is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure versus Dragon Ball. Cut content. Kiba, today I saw a man come back from the dead. Victor got up and was unassuming. The house was well decorated but otherwise seemed normal, save for the skull of a xenomorph hanged up as a trophy. A Victor-san, what is that? I ask, pointing to the skull. Oh, that. Killed it a couple years ago, so many of them. I know, right? Issei chuckled, couldn't have done it without Megatron though. Did you say Metatron? I say to Issei. Megatron. Metatron. Megatron. Metatron. You know what? Forget itis that a functioning Kamen Rider belt. Kiba, frowned Victor, don't try to steal my gift from Takashi. You should listen to him. Issei added, someone tried to steal his evoker and ended up getting derezed. Or was he hit with an overdrive? My brain is now shutting down. Kiba-ni. Been a week. Nothing much has really happened besides our cute little nun getting comfortable. Girl abandoned at Biartich. Raised in church orphanage. Enters clergy as nun. Discovered to possess sacred gear-derived healing powers. Kept at a distance and used as a political tool as a holy maiden faith healer. So kind and compassionate that she healed a devil who had been wounded near the church. Word gets out. She gets hated, branded a witch, then forcefully excommunicated. I had to jab a knife into my leg to prevent myself from going to Europe and desecrating the accursed church that would put the fallen angels to shame. As it is, I'm currently administering a test with our latest recruit, Tsugumi Shiro. Short black-blue hair, red eyes. Tomboy who admittedly makes an attractive man just as much she is an attractive woman. Orphan raised in the criminal underworld. Became a hunter. Simply found herself coming across a monster and killed it. Since then transitioned from taking hits on criminals to collecting monster bounties. Since Tsugumi is a firearm specialist and I'm not, I've had to be creative. Long story short, she is down. I also need to get a new kite shield. You pass. I tell her, report to Victor's house for your new equipment. Equipment, she says, breathing. Myrmidons get their power from equipment. While not all of us have sacred gears, we have artificial ones. Wait, did you say artificial? Azizel, leader of the fallen angels, had been studying and working with sacred gears for centuries. Naturally, we stole some of his notes and designs. The other advantage we have, however, is something only we have. I showed her my palm before letting the air around it glow in a hollow ball. Humans make it by because we make tools. Other people use alchemy, magic, or divine power to create things. The first Myrmidons had discovered the art of creating things from thin air. The glowing ball of air manifested into a single ring, or more precisely ours and the world's aura. That's why we call it the smelting aura technique. You can create weapons, weave stronger muscles, and most importantly forge our signature Myrmidon armor. Then it's dash. Oh, it's not all-powerful. Significant training is required, and only the greatest smelting auras can match sacred gears in terms of raw power. That's why we rely on skill more than other supernatural factions. I toss the ring to Tsugumi. Put it on. It will awake your smelting aura. We're done for today. She leaves. I flex my left arm. My tenant is getting restless. So you finally decided to awaken me. Boosted gear. Sacred gear known to house the powerful Crimson Dragon Drake. So how do I stack up? You got stuff, kid. Though by now you should be chasing after woman. Priorities a pay dragon. What's wrong with a pay? I can see why every user became a pervert. Well, they got lucky. You, on the other hand, what will it take for you to shut up? Three-way with a fallen angel and a devil, I groan. I thought male shinobi were the only perverted powerful beings in the universe. Exakino sneeze era. I think my kawaii brown-haired knight is thinking about me. Issei by Sigmar. I think I overdid the exam. I don't know what I pulled, but it hurts. With Tsugumi off somewhere and this being a weekend, I'm limping around the city. For all the supernatural activity, it seems strange that this place was as normal as any other place. Nothing much to say until I came across the sight of Kaneko Tuju planting her face in the glass window, staring into the candy store with predatory eyes. Might as well say hi. Kiba training. That's what I'm trying to do. Hearing about Myrmidons, I try do some digging on my own time. It made me realize I need to do more training. A lot more training. By learning from the best. In my hand are directions to an apartment complex housing one of the most powerful Myrmidon swordmasters in existence. Even as I approached the building, I could feel my instincts screaming at me to run. Rather than feeling divine or magic power, I just felt frightened. Every step was harder to take than the last. Run. Flee. Go. The moment I knock the door, I almost stumble from the primal force pushing down on me. For you. Keikiba Yuto. I stammer, for the first time in a long time, scared out of my wits. What do you need from me, young devil? Training. I heard from Dash, you a swordsman. Children have no place in this war. No matter how limited it is. Please. I bow in front of the door, make me your pupil. A short pause before the pressure lessened. Shortly. Temporarily. But don't stray. I can tell you are wavering on your path. Wavering. What do you mean? Another time. Be here tomorrow at the same time. You understood Mifune sense. After my last croak I leave. What did I just sign up for? Issei, hey Sen, how are you doing? Kaneko looks at me with the same flat expression she always has. Fine, she says. Are you going to get some candy? She doesn't answer. Through the window I see an old-time candy shop with glass and ceramic candy dispenses and mahogany furniture. If placed next to the ORC room, I'd say this store was a close second. What did catch my eye though was the chocolate. Perfect, geometric dark brown with a soft shine that makes your mouth water. I can see why Kaneko has a sweet tooth. That's it, I'm gonna buy a bar. I make my toward the door but look to see that my devil kohai is still staring. You're not coming? I ask. I forgot my money, she shrugged. Now I get it. My treat. That got her attention. You would do that? She asks, wide-eyed but still stoic. Sure, why not? I open the door first, ladies first. Hope to Sigmar that I don't regret this. Victor, as Myrmidon guardian and representative of the city, I have multiple duties. One of them being paperwork. I also am part of a support group for leaders who suffer emotional breakdowns due to paperwork. As such, the majority of our group are leaders of ninja villages. Why they have so much paperwork? No one knows. As I am expecting our newest member to meet me tomorrow, I decide to try and get all the work done today. It is painful. After finally getting to the last documents of the last stack of the last shipment, I realize to my dismay that I have just run out of staples. Rage. I'm getting too old for this. After I calm down, I decide to drive to the office store. Except Ryuki is out grocery shopping. Rage. With no other choice, I hoof it. The store itself is nothing worth mentioning. It's a store with office supplies and that's it. After buying a sizable box of staples, I notice that also there is a blue-haired, red-eyed tomboy. Tsugumi Shiro. She turns and looks at me. Wait, she says, you're Victor, right? I am. I nod, the one in charge of the Myrmidons in the city. Younger than I expected. We have ways. My wife is 50 and teenagers keep trying to hit on her. She chuckles, you're lucky. Romance never worked out for me. You're still a teenager. I've grown up fast, and as a boy, I've had perverts, lesbians, and way older men after me. But I've never even had a first kiss yet. Surely there was someone. Maybe. A Yakuza's son that my charge was arranged with. You can guess who got who. Ever tell him? He was popular. I was just one of many. By the time I admitted to myself the deal was done. Paternal instincts kick in. Don't lose hope, you're going to Kuo Academy, right? Bound to be some nice guy over there. Flag raised. Wonder what guy she'll meet. Issei, I regret this. To my shock and horror, Kaneko Tuju has emptied my wallet. If I didn't know it better, she was taking advantage of my hospitality. With enough cash left, I decide to take the bus back since I walked so far and I do not want to carry this bag all the way home. Alongside me is Kaneko, who sits on the same bench, waiting for another bus that comes to the same stop. I didn't get much from her. She didn't talk much. Her bus comes. Arigato. Something soft wraps around my torso. To my surprise, Kaneko hugs me. She quickly releases her iron grip before scurrying to the bus, her pale face still wearing that flat expression. Think. Justice. Shut up. Issei-sen. I don't know what to think of him. He worships Sigmar. His faith is very Christianish. I've never heard of Myrmidons either. They're powerful. I don't know. Issei and his family, Victor and Ryuki, are nice. I feel happy. I'm in Issei's home, taking the Hayudu's guest room. They seem to care about me. I assume so. I've never had people care about me so closely. It's getting dark and I am in my room. I wonder where Issei is. Even if I've only known him for a week, I feel sad when he's not around. His smile. His strength. His pride and courage. Hey Asia, says his voice. Why yes, Issei-sen. I reply, opening the door to my room to see him. Here. I grab the bag in his hand and pull out. Borja chocolates. And my favorite. But these are... I know, he says, expensive. But since they were your favorite, well, you get the idea. He did this all for me. Thank you. I smile. He nods, you're welcome. Issei, as Asia sleeps peacefully, I find myself on top of the roof of my house. My father and mother are resting peacefully, albeit with an AK-47 and SPAS 12 stuffed under their pillows. It's a sort of habit for a Myrmidon to be prepared. Me, I'm a night person. Sigmar, I'm tired. So tired that I didn't notice the girl standing behind me till just now. The same girl that backed away after I told her I was a Myrmidon. I turn to her. Her originally cute human form is replaced with a very feminine and mature form. More CC than cute in terms of beauty. She has a light spear pointed at me, holding it at a distance with both hands. Her hands shaking. "J give us the girl," she stammers. So she has a fear of Myrmidons, huh? I take advantage of that, grabbing the light spear with one hand and taking it away from her shaky and sweaty grip. The polearm I toss aside as it dissipates. In terms of power, I can say that she is capable, but her phobia is deeply weakening her. Standing up, I create a sword in my hand. You don't want to use my power. I won't need it. Her fear is already crippling her. What a waste. Killing a girl so easy on the eyes. I'm going to knock her out. Get Victor to have a word with her. You think she'll talk? If you saw my whole life till now, you would know that drop-dead Victor isn't as nice as you think. Is he going to go that far? Hopefully not. I casually walk toward her with best glare I could rehearse. A small amount of killer intent helps as well. She can't think straight. Because of that, her first 2 light spears miss. The third being so weak due to lack of concentration when created, I swat aside with my sword. I'm already looking to her eye to eye before I raise my free hand to her face, casting a basic stun spell. The fallen angel collapses and I catch her before laying her down. Your new friends would surprised how dark you really are. I don't need to answer that. I know. XXA/N. Just want to say thanks for the reception of my first chapter. Honestly, I never expected this particular fanfic to go so well, especially at the very start. Thank you. As it is, I'm currently wondering if any of you, my dear reads, would like to add extra Myrmidon OCs. Review or PM, and I'll pick what I think are best. Here are some basic rules. Human. Myrmidons are either human or half-human. Brain over brawn. They aren't as powerful as one of the archangels or Mao, but they are clever. Do not give them OP powers like time control. If they are powerful, then they are powerful because they actually train, use tactics, and possesses good equipment. Smelting aura technique. Their primary method of combat like light spears for angels and fallen angels. Each Myrmidon has their own type and classification. Issei relies on mostly medieval weapons and has a knight-themed aura. Tsugumi will have a gun-themed aura and in the future summon different kinds of firearms. The name itself comes from the manhua Feng Shinji, and its abilities are similar to fairy tales' exquisite magic. They can use magic but not to the extent of other races and factions, so don't expect a HSDXD incarnation of Dumbledore's sacred gears, again not OP. Kiba a week and a day after Rias has met the love of her life. As her loyal knight, I want to wish her good luck. Problem is that she is having deep trouble in approaching him. After meeting my new teacher Mifyun yesterday, I went to his home to train. It was painful. It was traumatic also. Limping, I made my way to school and found Rias at her table, dozens of crumpled pieces of paper all over and a well-worn pen working across another sheet of paper. Gah, she says, crumpling up another sheet, I can't even write one good love letter. She throws it. I catch it. I read it. Satan awful poetry. Ucho, I say, you like him that much? My redhead king plays with her fingers. Well, let's say that I went on a sort of date with him before. What do you mean? I ask. Let's just say that I went to a convention in middle school, she mumbles. I was cosplaying, big fancy costume with makeup and wig, and I saw him with his friends and what? Issei and his friends separated and we kind of struck up a conversation and we hanged out every day of the convention. Problem is that I never told him who I was or what was my name. Well, that settles it, I decide. You really do like Issei Rias. Now we have to decide how we can dash, ring at all times. Yes, she answers. Who is it? I ask. She shoos me away and I leave the room just to see a smile stretch across her face. XX Issei, stupid parents. Keep complaining I haven't got a girl yet? Rias is a nice girl, someone I'd like to have a relationship with of the girls I met so far. Problem is that while I'm okay with it, I'd be rushing. If I had my way, then I would try to court her over a longer PRD. After hanging up, I had a double take, realizing that I had just become the boyfriend of one of Koa's 4 beauties. So you like foreign girls? Would amputating my left arm with a dragon slayer sword work? XX Chapter 3 XX Issei Day and a week. Got a Nanimudo. Going to date the heiress of a noble demon. Devil family. Woke up a mammary gland obsessed dragon with cheaty power booster ability. Swell. Like I said, we Myrmidons prefer to live normal lives outside of. Kicking out scumbags. Is not a normal. I groan and run my hand through my hair as I walk to school, trying not to think about yesterday. Yuma Amano aka Rainier Fallen Angel. With Victor's methods we find out 3 things. One her and Cell's goals was to take whatever sacred gears they could find and kill those that they could take despite orders to contrary and still believing that they were doing it for the good of the fallen angels. Second was that they were disobeying orders because they have been more or less brainwashed by a certain someone that we aren't aware of. Third is that her intensive and traumatic phobia of Myrmidons had broke said person's control. The last part one feel ashamed with. Still thinking about that fallen angel chick. I feel bad if that's what you're asking. During the biblical war I've seen Myrmidons do worse things than scaring a girl. Rainier doesn't have a simple fear drag. At least you feel sorry about it, if you say so. I finally end up at school and to my surprise Rias is there smiling. She greets. I greet back. Just by exchanging hellos I cause an uproar. Wani-sama. Who is that guy? How dare you? Impossible. Why did she say hello? Wani-sama. When did that happen? Wani-sama. I am yelling. Really. They're weird people out there. Best not to ask XX Rias. I listen to their complaints and I don't care. Being a Japanophile otaku, I came here to live my life in Japanese culture. Pretty, smart, Nick, sure I am popular but I didn't do all this because I wanted to be some queen bee. At least I got one thing I wanted as young girl, a chance to marry a brave and handsome samurai. Well, he's a knight but I'm pretty sure I can convince him to change his theme. Well, he just asked me out but that's only the beginning so. Rias, you need to plan long term. Make sure he stays with you and find a way to get rid of that prick Riser Phoenix. On the line is spiky brown-haired brown-eyed Issei the Myrmidon samurai. Get your act together Rias. Era what have we here? N. XX Mifune Victor the African-American rarely visits me. He for the most part is too busy with his family life or his duties as this city's leader of the Myrmidons. As one of my pupils I am surprised that he even sees me in the first place. Only he bothers to come to me for advice. I am a warrior not a statement yet he still seeks my counsel. Today also happens to be one of the rarer days where I see him for a change. As I make my way to his home I come across a woman at the front door. European with appealing golden blonde hair and green eyes. A figure that would draw in weak-willed men like a flytrap. Ryuki, where is your husband? As it is a well-lit open area occupied by hidden Myrmidon guards it only took a second before they responded. Smelting auras flaring and a dozen blade weapons now pointed towards him. Bang, my own style of Iajutsu is designed for striking multiple opponents in a single slide. The weapons they carry shatter and fade away. One Myrmidon summons a pistol but Ryuki grabs his arm. Stand down. Nissan-sensei needs to talk with him. They glare at me but I do not flinch. I make my way to his office where Victor sits in his chair holding a sheathed Japanese sword. Still practicing Japanese sword fighting? I asked. At times yes. He answers, but I take it you're here for the sword aren't you? I am. You know the tradition of the Japanese Myrmidons. I do too. He places the sword onto the desk. You also have something else to say. I take out a small letter and place it on the desk as I removed the sword. As he reads he then puts the contents into a folio. How did you find this? I looked for it. I disappear. Fascinating. To land a wound on me. He still has potential. Of course I will need to reprimand him for harming his teacher, especially one so elderly as me. XX Akino my what a scandal. I see Issei and Rias getting cozy. Well, time for some fun. Truthfully I am fascinated in him. Something about his existence that's secretive, intoxicating, dangerous even. I like it. XX Hinanpai, good morning, I greet her. In the distance I hear someone yell, no, Hinansama, but I don't care. She has that look like someone who wants to get in my breathes. Thank you Drake, as much as I admit to being a pay guy I control my urges at least. Stop trying to give me those vivid memories. Never. I thought it was an unspoken rule to never watch X-rated content with others. Pay. ZZZ. What's worst is that he literally says ZZZ when he sleeps. Good morning Bucho, she smiles. I see we have a lovely new couple. Rias yells, flustered, it's not like that. Oh. Aquino stares. So you holding Ivan's hand a dash. Hold it right there. Members of the Rias and Aquino fanclubs. Non-human, superpowered members of the Rias and Aquino fanclubs. How dare you flirt with our Nay Samus? B. Release your disgusting hold on our queen. I am screaming. That guy again. Filthy human, you shall pay for this. You fiend, one even below a commoner consorting with a noble. Eloquent prick Ainty. More CRP kept spewing from their mouths. Why am I with the ORC? What have I done to their non-pervert Prince Kiba? What have I done to school mascot Kaneko? What have I done with two of the school's beauties? They need to get a life. This obsession is as stupid and petty as it is juvenile. All of it just pisses me off. Crack crack, alright. I growl. Rias and Napi, Aquino-senpai fire up a magic barrier. XX Kaneko Issei is a nice person. Dangerous but nice. The kind of magic barrier being used is similar to the raiding game Devil Peerage's fight in, creating a pocket-dimensional copy of the school for fights. You don't really die but it hurts. The one being put up is for practice spars since Rias is not old enough to participate in a real raiding game. He finally being fed up with all the weird people obsessed with the ORC. The worst being the perverts, the supernatural, and the supernatural perverts. It being only half an hour till school starts, I thought that I could stop them from hurting Issei with the help of you. POW bang 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 boom. Just then I duck as a werewolf flies over my head and crashes into the wall behind Kiba. Alright, who's next? Standing in the middle of circle of true form non-humans was the Myrmidon holding a devil by the loser's collar with metal gauntlets. Pow bang 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 boom. One of them tries get him from behind and he first breaks the vampire's guard with a punch, then pummels him before sending him as far as the werewolf using a mean uppercut. Kiba, the prince, he is tree to intervene but I use my strength to push him back. He's getting rid of the problem, don't interfere. XXISO. That's the last time I go on autopilot. Yeah. Don't do it again. After thrashing the out-of-shape, nowhere near combat-capable young supernatural thugs and creeps of the Rias and Aquino fanclubs, I attended classes like normal. As it is, I am confronted by two guys, Motohama and Matsuda. I might have already said that they were the infamous perverted duo, and as such I don't try to talk to them much. But since everyone saw me talking with Rias, I am already marked. Even through class I get looks, the strong get from those two. Be easy, my phone vibrates and I read the text. Oh, I think it's time for you to leave. I look to my history teacher and raise my hand. Yes, Issei. He says, is something about my American imperialism lecture that bothers you? No, sensei. I asked, I've just received a message from my parents. It's urgent. XX Mr. Hayudu attack me. But I'll take you on. Attack my family. Especially my new daughter Asia. You're already living on borrowed time. Issei may be known as a swordsman, but I was the one who taught him to fight in the first place. Bare-handed. Smelting aura active, I created 2 gauntlets. It's all I need. The fallen exorcists who corner us in this alley aren't much of a match for me. Say for one, freed something, I especially don't like his look towards Asia. The first exorcist comes at me with a light sword which due to its size limits its movement. Meanwhile, XX Issei, why do they want a single sacred gear so badly? I don't understand. Is there something about it that makes twilight healing so powerful? They could also be after you and the rest of the Myrmidons because of what you know, disobeying orders. That far. They've already gone far enough as it is. I run. My father and mother are retired, strong as they may be, they'll still be in trouble. I run across the rooftop fully clad in armor. Either it's covered up or people won't bat an eye. I don't care. My family, which now includes Asia, is in danger. When I near the alleyway, I pass through a simple magic barrier that wards normal people. I see on the ground crushed bags of groceries and crushed remains of fallen exorcists. My father grabs an unlucky exorcist and slams him into the ground with a crater making chokehold. Mom meanwhile notches 3 arrows and fires them into attacking group, killing one and forcing the rest to spread out. Then I see a vile-looking young white-haired exorcist sneaking up behind my father. I growl. I create a bow, notch an arrow and let it fly. The white-haired one sneers and swats it away with his sword. I fire again and he shoots it instead with his light-powered pistol. I jumped down, transforming my bow into a javelin before throwing it at the exorcist. Is that all you got, shitty Myrmidon? He sneers again. Watch your language, boy. Dad roars and grabs him by the collar and tosses him back into the exorcist's side, knocking out the two, breaking the white-haired man's fall. That FNG hurt, said the white-haired exorcist that I now identify as the leader, name's Fried Selzen. The punk that's going to cut you two a-holes. I said, growled Dad, cracking knuckles. Watch. Language. Ha. Fried cackled. You think some old fart can boss me around? After I'm through with you I'll dash. No. Dad, don't. You asked for this. He punched the ground in front of him with his fist. Victor, your orders, Victor. I looked to see our newest member Tsugumi standing in front of my desk. Sighing, I search through my file cabinet and pull out a folio with the words, assassination order on them. You're an assassin, correct? Yes, she answers. I hand her the folio and her eyes widen. Kill all of Group B. What about Group A? I will handle them personally. Kill them. Handle them. That is all you need to know. The earth shook. Earthquake. She says, uncharacteristically panicking. I look to the direction of the source, a minor shake apparently. I may have to cross out Group C, if there is any left. Just do your job, I say to Tsugumi, pay no heed. You do your work, right now I need to do some of mine. She leaves. Now to business. Issei, I have to thank Sigmar for my father's ability to pull his punches. I had assumed that he was powerful, but I thought he was already past his prime. He breathes, I told you so. Now I see why. The attack takes a lot out of him. I look to the alley. It's gone. The fallen exorcists that were here are all gone. Everything in a cone originating from his attack is gone. I look to my mother, who now embraces a crying and scared young ex-nun. The elders in Myrmidon claim that only she could defeat my father in their primes. What kind of monsters are they? Impressive. I can see why you are a competent Faise behind you. Wah, aha. Bang XX Rainier, I don't remember pain. I don't remember any sensation. I feel motionless. Nothing. No feeling, no capability to do anything. Just nothing. Neither hot nor cold. I try to move my hands and feet and touch nothing. There is no smell and taste is nothing to mention about. Nothing. Is it death? I hope not. What time is it? Is there time? Why can't it be over? But, just why? Someone kill me. Kill me. Kill me. XX Victor, torture, brainwashing, blackmail, coercion, for things that come to mind when people discuss interrogation. Only a select few like me know the fifth variation. The kind where you play with a man's mind and break it down to basic building blocks. Figuring out their purpose, their organization, how to augment them to desirable effects. Even as this fallen angel lies in her prison cell bed, I make sure to monitor her vitals every now and then. Though superficially human and able to procreate with humans, other races have biologies that prevent me from using standard procedures. Rainier, for instance, requires 30 cc's of alchemical arsenic panacea for her to survive my controls. Being the first person in Group A, I would have killed her by now, especially as her traumatic experience involved certain secrets about our organization, but I am more humane than most Myrmidon. Thanks to my wife, I make sure that I am not as cold towards my prisoners as you would believe. I will bring her back. After a few corrections, of course. XX Iajutsu, Japanese art of quick drawing a blade. A/N, still very surprised at how successful this fanfic is. Currently I have 2 OCs presented to me, and I am wondering about your thoughts about a completely original Myrmidon-focused story arc after I finish these modified Asia and Riser arcs. Just PM or review your opinions. Also, I wanted to respond to a review from Dragonbard. I see where you get it when you talk about Issei being different and Draig being a pervert. While being a pervert defines Issei, there are dozens of fics where he isn't a pervert. Victor, on the other hand, is special. He seems ordinary, but trust me in saying that there is a lot of things about him that are going to be revealed, This and last chapter should show that he isn't exactly the silly mundane leader of the local Myrmidons. Lastly is your opinions on OCs. From the start I said this was a HSDXD fanfic starring a new fourth faction, that means OCs. If you don't like OCs then I recommend you to not read this. XX Omake. Kiba's training Kiba before you is a Bakken wooden sword. Within it is a spirit. Your first goal is to take it and force it to your will. I walk to the piece of wood and hold it in my hand. Strange. I don't feel anything. Is there really a spirit in this weapon? No, the Bakken is over there. You are holding the deadwood snake, a very dangerous type of snake that has the poison of the cobra and the constricting power of an anaconda. So dangerous that common soldiers of the three powers have to wear codpieces under their breaths. See codpieces. Hissis chomp, jaya hawa. They also have a distinct hatred of teenage blonde male humanoids. What did I do to deserve this? Fallen angel diplomat, I ask again. Why do you wish to speak to me? Standing in front of me was the leader of the Myrmidons of Japan and an elder as well. Though centuries old, the elder looked only like a man in his early 40s, his presence making me understand how a human could survive the front lines of the biblical war. He is intimidating. The man known as Ryu, befitting his name, was like a dragon in human form. Being a mere diplomat from the fallen angels, I was told this group was a bunch of pushovers. Then to my dismay I find that a meeting on the side of a skyscraper was taken to heart. He stood on the building sideways, glass windows to his feet and his men doing the same as well. Even as a fallen angel, even I am cautious at this height, especially because of the thinner atmosphere. Suspended by grappling hooks, these insane humans swung around like apes and vines as an unnecessarily advanced form of movement. Perhaps it is the danger. Or is it because it makes them even more agile and unpredictable? I will never know. Even as I hand him Azazel-sama's letter, I see one grim man, who glared at me before jumping off and zipping through the city with speeds impossible for sustained magic flight. Don't mind him, said a cold guard. Ever since he fought the giants he's had it in for ex-humans. What? How did he know I was? Grigori, said Ryu, as your organization is called. I have no ill will towards your kind, even if you discredit your race ex-human. I raise my finger but he continues. The Splinter faction on the other hand has threatened and attacked us over a neutral sacred gear user that has voluntarily sought our protection. Even as we speak, one of our promising pupils is lying in a coma, having taken the bullet for the same girl, a bullet coming from a fallen exorcist's gun. If I also count the evidence that I may add would be considered war crimes and crimes against humanity I have gathered from the other Asian city representatives, then you, killing intent so thick that I gasped for air emitted from the man, my wings felt heavy and I feel the light magic in me flicker and dim. The reason, he growled, we attacked you is that we are targeting the perpetrators and associated accomplices. If you can't maintain DSPLN or law and order within your new people trader, then we will have to dispose of them ourselves. Just then all of his guards seemed to release their lines, each drawing twin swords as they descended into the distance. Soon it followed with dozens of explosions in the air below. And it seems your own Issei was in on it as well. Ex-Azazel, dark devilishly handsome brunette with a goatee and centuries of indulgence and vice. They assume that just because I spend a lot of time in the red light district that I'm incompetent. Even my own subordinates who decided to act against my wishes and antagonize the Myrmidons. No supernatural faction as it is antagonized them and come out unscathed. Try as I might, I will never able to understand the power of the smelting aura or how they could gather so many sacred gears. My comfortable little condo this side of Japan is one of the lesser properties I own. With this mess I've had to stay here and monitor the situation. Most likely the diplomat is getting chewed out as we speak. Dimenu Reeve. I've planned to purge the ranks for a while and they're doing it very quickly. Find a problem, charge in without asking, then leaving. Typical Myrmidon. Just like the US Army. At least they make sure to clean up after themselves. Then I hear the bell ring. Yes. Victor. Open up, Azazel, I know you're there. I walk to the door and smile. So Victor, how's Ryuki? Victor shrugs. Azazel, I'm sorry I went over your head. I know. Procedure. I've already told all of my enclaves and cells in Japan to stand down and comply. How are you spinning it? Joint operation to clean our two factions of corruption and unwanted factors. Naturally, I'll give you a list of certain questionable associates of mine. I chuckle. I'm starting to feel like some character in a modern military espionage thriller than the leader of some biblical force at play. Though I laugh, I stop when I see my friend's face grimace. How is he doing? I ask. He looks at me then looks down. We have a policy of updating our wills annually. Ryuki Isenai is being treated. For how long he will live we don't know. I sit outside his room in mine and my husband's home. Our home is a base for Myrmidons, possessing a dozen underground levels. One level is where we treat our wounded. It is also the same level for the morgue. I may be older, but I know that I have yet to truly grow up. I haven't killed. I haven't gotten my hands dirty like all Myrmidons have. The new one, Tsugumi, was an ex-criminal, Nichan had. Interrogations, I don't want to talk about what Mifune does to his students. So, he I can say is the least soiled, his only sin to send prisoners to my husband. If anyone deserves Sigmar's grace it is him. Inside the room I see Asia sit at his bedside, at the moment sobbing. Asia-chan, I say to her, it's not your fault. It is, she cries, it always is, what makes you say that? If I didn't heal that devil T, then the exorcist who was A after it was dash, I don't let her talk more. I just hold her because she needs a shoulder to cry on. Draig I have had many partners. Being the soul of dragon sealed into a sacred gear, I would keep finding myself stuck as the left arm of a new guy every generation. Some never awakened me, others squandered me, few ever realizing my potential, and even fewer were people that I respected, let alone liked. Pervert I admit that like Issei I have priorities. I respect him too much to let him die like all the other users whose lives were cut short. I'll have to do what I can on my friend. Hopefully one of his HRM could do something about it. Asia none. Issei. Issei's left arm flashed. In place of it was a red metal gauntlet with yellow markings and green jewels. Draig, the dragon's soul bound to his sacred gear. Asia with twilight heel right. I nod. I see. I see why they had gone so far for just the one twilight heel. Why yes. Heal him, but. I trail off, I tried but it never worked. Ryuki tries to intervene but this older dragon scares her. Dragzima? She stammers. Heal him I gulp. Issei-san is dying but if something could be done then. I'll try. I say, I'll do it no matter hard and no matter how many times it takes. My two hands glow green as I hold them over Issei's unconscious form. I have healed before, hundreds of people. They loved me because I was the holy maiden and they hate me because of it. Issei-san he and his family. My family. I won't let him die. I won't let him die. Ryu invisible to the mundanes was an immense power source. It erupting from a certain nun. So, another one. Very well. Mifune, what is this feeling sensei? Asks my pupil. I narrow my eyes. Continue training. I have a few choice words for someone. Kiba continue training. I have a few choice words for someone. When I hear that I decide to go as well, waiting a few minutes before leaving. It's in the direction of Victor's house. Something is off. I hope Rias's boyfriend is alright. Tsugumi, you meet the one of the few eligible good men and he ends up in a coma. Tsugumi, you have rotten luck. First him now another. Well, since he's also taken I might as well go look for someone else then. Since every secret organization, human and non-human, is obsessed with their operations in being in warehouses, I am stuck here finishing off Group B with a squad of Myrmidons. Rookie, says my commander, any more fallen remaining? I narrow my eyes and concentrate. Left 20 yards. I created a high-powered magnum and unloaded on him, killing the fallen in one hit. Boxes. Bang front. Ceiling. Bang erg. A fallen angel behind me collapses from a deep chest wound, my commander holding a bloodied Bowie knife. You have a lot of work to do. He says. I look down. I know. Then it came. Rias I am concerned. I bet everyone in the entire world could feel it. I would visit him every day, and since that sensation came, I made sure to hurry today. Me, Aquino, and Kaneko can't teleport to Victor's house directly because of the warding. We can only go so far before we have to make the rest on foot. Rias! Cries Aquino. I dodged a light arrow before I see a group of Myrmidons coming our way. Stand down. Stand down. The group of modern knights lowered their bows and guns as Issei's mother appeared before us, chastising them. Issei! I yell, running towards him. I embrace him and he embraces me. Ow! He groaned. Oops. Ta'ara, smirks Aquino, who was getting closer to Issei than I'd like. How is my dear Myrmidon doing? Still stings, but I'll manage, he said, still wincing. I have to owe it all to Asia though. Issei, why do I feel like I'm going to be hospitalized again? Still, at least I'm not dead. What little smelting aura I have left is channeled into my sore spats. That's better. I'm going to have to thank Sigmar for this. I mutter. Again, who is Sigmar? Kiba flew in and exchanged quick greetings with the rest of the ORC. Patron deity. Oh, and Kiba, where were you? I ask. Training. He shrugged. With that mysterious Myrmidon that Victor keeps mumbling about. Mifune, was it? How are you, okay? Butted in Kaneko, staring at me with a face slightly showing surprise. Ryuki-chan and my parents said it was all because of Asia's doing. The nun, answered Kiba, now looking kinda shifty. Yes, it was. I reply. Come to think of it, he seemed uncomfortable with Asia. I'm going to have to look into it. Kaneko is hugging me, snuggling her head into my torso. Almost like a rab, Mammalia lagomorpha lepority, Victor Apotheosis. The highest point, the culmination, the CLMX. The deification of someone. As I arrive at my home, I see one Apotheosis candidate, a certain nun who thought she just had a healing sacred gear. I know only 3 besides her, one who died before his time, one who rejected it, and Sigmar, our patron deity himself. It seems as though our new potential goddess has just performed her first true miracle. The paperwork will be the death of me. A candidate. Yes. But an ex-nun. One who is so devoutly Christian. Sigmar was coronated emperor by an Ulrich priest before he ascended. The elders of Europe will attempt to influence the candidate onto their control. Can't you do something? I am no longer an elder, Victor. I only wish to live the rest of my life in peace. But with Asia Argento in the way, I'm afraid that I will have to come out of retirement. I hope you don't have to. It is for the council to decide, and only Sigmar knows how this will pan out. X aka rabbits A/N. Yeah, this is a big deviation. No regrets. Asia Argento, goddess of love, healing, and compassion. Ironically a Christian. As always, PM and review. If you still want to make OCs, you can look at the bottom of Chapter 2 for rules and template. This. Way too many vendetta orphans. Every OC I have so far is an orphan who is screaming for the BLD of supernatural beings. Exomake. Kiba's training part 2. Kiba, your objective is to get from here to the other end of the field and back. That's it. That's it. Click O with Gaia. Landmines. Incorrect, light element landmines. What kind of training is this? My training. But dash. No buts. Looks like I need to sell my stocks. You're looking at stocks right now. Multitasking O and focus. Click boom Gaia. I grit my teeth. You're enjoying this, aren't you? If I did, I would come late and read dirty novels. Click boom boom Gaia. Oh, and some of them are cluster munitions. Issei, been a week. Been a week. Wait, how do you know that? Actually, I like to monologue myself. Been a week. Oh. The base under Victor's house sports a floor for a gym and training. Bang, and I am currently sparring with Tsugumi, who uses CQC style involving a combat dagger in one hand and pistol in the other. The suited tomboy is surprisingly tough for a rookie. As it is, I am using twin daggers in response. She charges at me with the knife. I parry just in time to dodge the point-blank gunshot she had tried to sneak in. My non-parrying arm wraps around her neck into an arm lock, knife edge resting just short of her neck. Still got a lot to learn, rookie. Tsugumi groans as I release my hold. You know there's a reason why I use guns. It's also the reason why you need to learn how to not rely on guns. You could have ducked my neck hold and reverse gripped your dagger to cut me behind you. After sparring with the rookie we finish for the day. She hits the shower. I meanwhile see my foreign girlfriend holding a water bottle in front of me. How are you feeling? She asks. Back to normal. I reply, taking a swig. Never knew there was a Twilight healing gear that powerful. I'll say, it's a shame that I can't recruit her. A nun. We Gremory are one of the nicer, more open-minded pillar devils. Pillar devils, aka the natural-born devils, hence the nobility, the rest are reincarnated from other races. We talk a bit. To my surprise it turns out that half of the 72 original families were wiped out and the Myrmidon are blamed for a good handful. I'm dating a Gremory. This is a problem. Rias? I ask. She responds. Have you told your family about you and us? She shrugs and sighs. She didn't. Since there's so few of us, she started, arranged marriages are important. Even if... Rias trailed off. I see. Just like the high classes to rarely marry out of love. That's why I need more people in my peerage. She continues, you know how it works, right? Evil pieces use for reincarnation. The king who leads, knights with speed, rooks with strength, bishops with magic, pawns who could promote to one of the three, and a queen with all three. The BSTRD has a full chess set, and if I had the strength and numbers I could challenge him in a raiding game. Sanctioned fights between devils. But you don't, I sadly add. Yes, she nodded solemnly, I don't. But I have to try. I'll help. I answer. You can't. Only devils are allowed, and I know enough that your level of power can't be matched by my remaining pieces. What do you have? A bishop, a knight, a rook, and all 8 of my pawns. And you can only mix and match. Even all 8 of my pawns won't affect you. Think. For some time I think before I come to one conclusion. Rias, what about a magic contract? A magic contract, respond 2 people. Behind Rias is Akino, who came out of the elevator. She's turning a few heads. Their girlfriends will not be pleased when I tell them. Mwahaha. Let's just forget that. What kind of magical contract? Akino asks. Ahem. I cough. Give us. One of them is pledging fealty. Will it work? Rias looks to me. I nod. Although I hesitate, I'll do it for you. Is it bad? She tilts her head. Cute? I sigh, because, you know what? I'll just do it. I transform into my noble armor, a suit of shining silver armor with full livery and robes with it. A helm with appealing feather plume and a cape with well-woven pattern. I also kneel before her and hold her hand. Please don't hate me for this. I say to her straight. I solemnly swear to Lady Rias that I take her hand and watch over her in sickness and in health, and to care for her through thick and thin. By my conscience will I pledge fealty to my lady, and to be both a shoulder to cry upon and an arm to hold her steady. With this pawn I hold it as a symbol of our bond. The Issei Haidu of the House of Haidu am now yours. You may now do with me as you see fit. Milady good Sigmar, that is the most cheesiest, corniest magic spell I've ever chanted. Thud, she fainted. Era how romantic. Do me next, Isin. I feel like I'm going to get burned alive for this somehow. Lucky beefy. Oh, shut up, Drake. Ex-Victor youth. I shake my head at times seeing a teenage girl faint from something like that. Still, me possessing a dragon and wife, I can't complain. While Issei is fumbling with relationships, I am in the middle of aggressive negotiations with Saeed, leader of the Holy Land Myrmidon branch's elite Hashishin. We're even at the moment. I am in kendo armor, wielding a Japanese sword blunted by magic. Saeed meanwhile wears a white hooded trench coat with twin wrist-mounted blades also dulled by magic. Do Mifune and I have your support? I ask, lunging forward. You have mine, he responds, parrying my blade with his right before moving his left blade forward, but I am not sure about the others. I swat away his left arm before using the momentum to throw him off. He staggers but manages to regain his balance just before crossing his wrist blades into an X to catch my downward swing. I pull it back and then block his counter-attack combo before we break the engagement. The Hashashin will use what influence we have. Said narrowed his eyes before tensing, but you're going to need to speak with the freemen if you want any help from the rest. Your rivals? I reply incredulously, when both of you weren't fighting the pre-Islamic Arab mythologies, you were at each other's throats with hidden blades and crisp knives. Times have changed. My son wishes to have my support since he wants to marry a freeman. We charge at each other again, neither of us landing a decisive blow. Congratulations, I say, holding my blade in a struggle with his. Thank you. The spar continues. Each blow parried and blocked. At the end we breathe and gasp for air. A draw. You going to need more men, Said breathes, both to protect her and later on. You offering, I respond, equally ill-bred. He nods. I have a list of friends who know some other friends, to protect the nun. As for the future you have backing of the Holy Lands Brotherhood and our Shai Hewlett. We shake hands. Issei, despite fully recovering, I am still concerned about my health and have been refraining from doing anything beyond sparring. After that embarrassing oath, which sounded more like a old-time romance monologue, I've been unable to speak with her since she won't look me in the eye without blushing. Sigmar, was it really that bad? Since we're at school I'm getting looks ranging from shock and dismay to complete and utter despair and homicidally violent jealousy. The perverted duo Emotahama with the glasses that could measure a girl's 3 size and the bald ex-jock Matsuda stood in front of me. I already know what they are going to say. How dare you touch her? How dare you touch her? What was it like? Tell us. What was it like? Tell us. Come on. As your friends, give us the juicy details. Come on. As your friends, give us the juicy details. I just walk away. Then Rias fan club came. I also know what they are going to say. You beast. What have you done? You beast. What have you done? Wani-sama. Why did she choose you? Wani-sama. Why did she choose you? Crying. Wah. I just walk away. Although I keep getting those looks, I go through class like normal, and then, class, said the teacher, this is Asia Argento. She is an exchange student from Europe. Already I could see girls saying, kawaii. And the guys in class starting to drool. Say hello, Asia, he said to the blonde nun. Kei konnichiwa, she shyly stuttered in broken Japanese. That and her blush is only digging herself deeper. Very good, he nodded. There's a free seat next to Issei Hayadu's. Hi, she bowed before sitting next to me. Nervous, she looks at me and I smile to at least give her a little bit of comfort. Don't worry. I tell her, if you need anything just ask me. While still meek, she still smiles back. Arigato, easy. I may have thrown more oil into the fire, but I'm going to watch over her regardless. Asia Drag-sama and Victor-san told me that I'm way more special than I think I am. Ever since I had this ability Asia. Huh. I snap out, well? You were in a daze, he says. Are you all right? I nod. Sorry, Issei. I just had to think of something. The bell rings. It's now free time and me and Issei are at our desks. Everyone crowds around me. They ask questions. A lot of questions. Things like, where do you come from? Why did you come here? What is your relationship with Issei? That question is something that I don't know myself. Friend, close friend, best friend, girlfriend. Then his phone buzzed. He had a face that said that something very bad is going to happen. Excuse me, Asia. Issei walked off, creating his aura weapon thing, and his hand became covered in a metal gauntlet. I hope to God everything turns out okay. Issei, riser phoenix of the Phoenix Pillar Devil family. Demon nobility, but from what I learned from Rias, he isn't exactly as noble as people make him out to be. A cocky, arrogant prick who is a notorious womanizer whose all-female peerage/HRM is a collection of features. Thanks to an arranged marriage, my girlfriend is set up with this disgusting fiancé. If rumors were true, then he really should hope that his regeneration fails on him. Getting her text, I walk to the ORC clubroom holding with my aura partially active. Until I'm stopped by my friend. Victor, you're not thinking about attending, are you? Appearing in front of me, Victor just shook his head. Issei, you do know that Asia is special compared to other sacred gear users, right? He asks. Of course. I respond, but you keep me in the dark about this and... Sit. I'm not going to lie, but I'm not going to tell you either. All I can say is that Myrmidon and the rest of the elders consider her a very special person. With the cover-up purge we worked with Azazel, we are short-handed. Short-handed. But only Takao got sacked from the group. Due to special circumstances, I'm going to have to call in some help. From other Japanese cities. Westerners. A few sacred gear users and even a hybrid or two. Any of them good? Victor shrugged. Mixed bag. Some got strong auras, others are just good fighters. All I've been guaranteed is that they'll be loyal, reliable, and most importantly trustworthy. I look at him with suspicion, and if they aren't. He just sighed and patted me on the shoulder. Remember how it's said that no Myrmidon has clean hands? You don't mean? We aren't just peacekeepers, Issei. Victor goes to leave but says one more thing. Oh, and Issei. Yes. I reply. When you fight that jackass, spare the girl, will you? What girl? Victor the First. Am not at this school just to talk to my friend. I am also here to talk with my newest subordinate who is also about to attend this school as well and is getting familiar with the ins and outs of the school as well as its secrets. In a hidden corner of the school I wait for Tsugumi to arrive, and she quickly came to me in less than 5 minutes, dropping down from the tower using the Myrmidon grappling hook belt. You done? I asked her. Yes, she replied before looking at the belt buckle. These things are handy. Tell that to the giant slayers. I chuckle. How's security? Tight, but they rely too much on magical systems. I've managed to bug the important sections and got into the school's security feed. I nod. You're done for today. She nods and zips away using the belt. I in turn just received a phone call. Niece and, said my wife, the Freemen want to talk with you. Understood, I sigh. Prepare the fighting ring. Using my smelting aura I create a katana. While I'm more European-leaning, Mifune taught me to appreciate Japan very well. Like all negotiations, especially aggressive negotiations, you need to be armed and ready. Mifune, as Myrmidons, we try to act as a representative of humanity, with the supernatural factions both known and unknown. Before WH commanded that there be light, our predecessors had already built cities and traveled the stars. Though they have declined and reside in their worlds, we Myrmidons try our best to speak to them. After training my newest pupil, I have teleported to the Myrmidon embassy in Antarctica. It by first appearances is a corporate-sponsored research settlement, but in reality is the top level of an underground complex. One that connects to what is most likely the last true primordial city still active on Earth. As it is, I don't require identification as my reputation precedes me. The guards nod as I pass through the layers of defenses. Dozens of veteran Myrmidon disguised as staff, numerous dogs that are much more than they appear, and a few automated machines that would put the Terminator to shame disguised as mundane civilian drones. I approach the main building, and behind the heated offices and labs is a hidden room that contains an elevator guarded by some of the best men in our faction. When I trained. Level as we go farther down we finally come across the largest cavern in existence, housing Primordial City. It is appealing in a strange way. Bizarre geometrical architecture with dozens of glowing lines and sigils, hundreds of different art pieces ranging from abstract sculptures to surreal paintings displayed across walls, hundreds upon thousands of strange creatures flying, skittering, sliding, floating all over the place. When the elevator reaches the bottom, I depart towards the embassy building, the one human architectural structure that sticks out like a sore thumb in this surreal sea. While the primordial architects and critics scoff at it, the primordial government ordered its construction and furnishing to make it comfy for humans. On the way I see looks, assembly. What these creatures have for eyes are pointed towards me. Mifune, the ex-elder Myrmidon, one of the greatest warriors Myrmidon produced, friend of the primordial. My reputation precedes me. While I scoff at fame, that never means it leaves me. With caution a small, apparently young one approaches me. An amoeba-like creature made of viscous semi-fluid. A shoggoth, in other words a slime. While shoggoth are portrayed as horrifying creatures of teeth and eyes, In reality they more or less resemble what slimes look like in video games and other pop culture. The young one in this case is light blue and transparent, while genderless they have personalities. In this case with her transformation, a young girl who holds a Yithian flower. She holds it up to me and I kneel down to take it, petting her head before thanking her. The Shoggoth smiles and runs to what is most likely her mother and father, who smile at her in human form. I arrive at the building and greeted with a salute from 2 primordial sodders. In the front office is Secretary Jameson. Miss Jameson, I am here for the meeting. She nods and makes a phone call. Mifune-sama is here. Understood, said a voice. We are ready for him. A woman comes to the front and asks that I follow her, which I comply to. At the end of the hallway, she opens the door to the main conference room. A large oblong space with equally oblong oval table. In front of me sat a representative of each of the 5 primordials, Yithian, Migo, Elder Thing, Shoggoth, and Deep One. As it is only the Shoggoth and Deep One have truly been in contact with the rest of the world and are the least hideous compared to the admittedly alien and unsettling appearances of the former 3. While Shoggoth are slimes, Deep Ones are aquatic beings, humanoids with web digits and both fish and amphibian traits. Welcome, Mifune, started the leader, the Yithian in unnatural English. As a friend of our people's, I first had wanted to congratulate you on your retirement, but as I can tell, you are far from living the rest of your days in peace. I nod. Have you felt it? We at the least have. Entered the Deep One. Colonies near Korea and the Philippines recorded intense supernatural energies. We as well, added the Shoggoth. Our intelligence networks in Earth, Biblical Hell, and Biblical Heaven have recorded the same surge as well. Fellow counselors, asked the Migo, what would this energy indicate? It is the sign of an awakened Apotheosis candidate. I answer for them, the data file I have just sent to all of you speaks for itself. After looking on their tablets, the Yithian and Elder Thing look at each other and seem to have an expression for agreeing with me. I and the Yithian representative trust Mifune that this is credible, answered the Elder Thing, but what do you intend for us to do? I need your support. I state. You will always have my people's support, Mifune, responded the Yithian. The question is support for what? Yes, what is it that you exactly need? Added the Migo. There are times when even the most hardened men have to take big chances. This is one of them. Counselors, I ask that when I bring the topic regarding the Apotheosis candidate to the Myrmidia Council that I take a breath. This would be the heaviest words I would have the trouble of saying. That you promise to fully support Myrmidia in the coming war. XA/N. I doubt anyone saw that coming. Cthulhu Mythos X High School DxD, someone needs to do that. While I know a lot of readers might be worried about this being a mega crossover, it ain't. There will be no Assassin Templar war or time travel adventures with a certain Italian mafia family named after clams. What I am doing is taking bits and pieces from other series to flesh out the Myrmidon faction. Review or PM thoughts and opinions. PS last chance for OCs. If you read carefully, then you would see that the first OC or 2 will be coming next chapter. Also note that while I'll try to keep OCs as accurate as described thanks to the writing, there will most likely be a few changes here and there for the sake of fitting into the story. Exomake. Kiba's training part 3. Kiba, your next task is to test your resistance to light. How am I supposed to do that? By seeing how long you could resist against an illusion of the most horrific light element aberration producible by 2 human martial artists. In front of me approach 2 illusions. Both are men with massive caterpillar near unibrows and the ugliest skin-tight green unitards that could be created without unholy magic methods. Then I was inexplicably in the beach. At sunset with both of them charging at each other with tears. Then they hug. Why? Thudichin. As of yet, not one person has been able to resist it the first time. But she's here. Behind that smug blonde playboy trying to touch my girlfriend in the ORC room is Carloman. Why is she here? Why now? Partner, what's the deal with you and Mr. Casanova's brunette knight? Carloman was. Well, still is. Still what? No. I'm not going to tell you. Chapter 6 Issei. The atmosphere is tense as it is with Rias peerage in a standoff with risers. The only one that does stand out is her, the lady brunette knight wearing a bandana over her head. I look at her and she looks at me. Small as it is there was. Still is something there. Fine. 2 weeks it is then. I've tuned out. Apparently Riser and Rias are going to have the long-awaited fight, leaving us some time to prepare. By now I also notice an older yet still attractive silver-haired devil dressed as a maid. I can tell by her presence that she is powerful since she seemed to have restrained both peerages from killing each other. As Riser finally leaves, the silver-haired woman I know now is named Graphia looks at me with suspicion. She leaves. I'm going to have to talk about this to Rias later. Week later it is now 1 week after we started training. Currently we are in the forest outside the city in a little wooden cabin. Despite protests by Victor, Asia wants to tag along and help her new friends even though she can't participate. And no, I will not teach her the pledge. I don't want to talk about it. What pledge? With Asia is her bodyguard consisting of Tsugumi and one of the new guys. Leon doll, Spanish, orphan, thief, ninja. Never understood the ninja part. At the moment I am observing Leon in his tall, brown-haired, blue-eyed glory fighting Kiba using smelting aura kunai. I have to say that they are evenly matched. Night pieces have their inbuilt speed but Leon could use his aura or his faint wind and shadow magic. Though neither of them seem to be at their max speeds. Leon continues to exchange blows with Kiba using his twin kunai, at times throwing them before drawing more. Kiba meanwhile uses a sword style from what he told me was based of his sensei Mifune's combat style. Infinite one-sword style as it's called, relying on the use of numerous swords scattered across the battlefield, very effective with sword-type auras. Not sure about Kiba's sword BRH though. In the clearing the Myrmidon and Devil take turns defending, one on static guard and protecting against attacks from his surroundings. They clash one more time and are forced to jump back. Kiba activates his sacred gear, creating more swords all over the forest clearing. The blonde readies into a stance grabbing the handles of the swords to his side. Leon in turn draws out a ninjato all of a sudden, ready to perform a blade dance. By cue both of them lunge at each other like two dancing beams of light. With each clash I see another blade shatter only to be replaced. Then another. And another. Soon enough I see slash marks and broken bits of swords and the occasional poor log/boulder caught in the mess. You better stop them, Sai. Channeling my smelting aura I jump between them throwing up 2 large tower shields that crumple from the sheer force. Both of you stop. It's getting out of hand. Reluctantly they agree. I now notice that both of them seem a bit unhinged. Nice style. Breathes Kiba, never thought I'd see a Western ninja. Leon chuckles, I'm a fan of ninja anime and manga. Worth it? I ask. He shrugs. Ex-Leon, I'm a white ninja. If it was an RPG I'd be classified as a rogue while my senior Issei was a warrior. Honestly, I never thought I'd be in this position. Little street urchin criminal of Spain, next thing you know I freeze my butt off training somewhere in the Himalayas while fighting off AK-wielding Yeti communazis and overzealous Shangri-La border patrols. Although considering I pickpocket the Elder of Spain, El Rio Rojo de Muerto, I'm fortunate that I learned that smelting aura can regenerate certain key parts of the body. Still it beats committing daily petty crime for a living. Friends. Family. Got adopted by the dolls, good Myrmidon family of Europe and have something to live for. I'm loyal and willing enough to get the job done. It could be a simple devoy to an assassination to the one I am on now, guarding over the goddess-to-be and her crush. Though I feel like I want to be envious at times. Issei's mostly clean, hasn't gotten his hands dirty enough, still believing in Myrmidon's idealist image but is starting to waver. As friendly as I am with him, I know orders. If anything goes rotten then the offending fruit gets disposed of. Factions are already forming. Argento-chan future is going to be either a good or bad thing for us all, and I definitely know that the mess that's coming is going to a lot more preparations. Leon, when were you going to tell me that Asia has a possible chance to become the next Sigmar? He found out. I don't like that. While we wash ourselves at a nearby stream after training, he just looks at me. I say to him, it's a secret. I'm not as naive and optimistic as people think I am, he answered. In case you're wondering, Drake decided to tell me after. After what? My own secrets, he stated. Back to the matter at hand, I need to understand why her very existence is causing a mess amongst us. Politics, Issei. Politics. I know for certain that Victor and that Saeed guy are gathering supporters with some other person, an ex-elder. I hear of it. And how did you gather all that from one fight? I'm a ninja. A spy. Intelligence agent. All the same. All that matters is that I know and I'm loyal enough to Myrmidon and Sigmar to say that your friend, due to the evidence, is on the good side. Elder Rio I'm not sure about, and I know that Elder Rio Rojo will be doing his own thing. And me. My friend. A new one, but someone I can tell is trustworthy and dependable. After finishing up, we walk back to the cabin where we stumble upon Tsugumi and Caveman. In front of me is a tall, pale man with wild green hair and dark blue eyes. Given his smelting aura and his non-human hair and eye color, I can tell that he isn't fully human. Part slime or shoggoth, to be politically correct. They like to live off the land and are immensely tribalist in culture, and given the animal furs and his tribal outfit, he seems to lean toward his inner shoggoth. Stephen gaily, he says, Victor hired me. Issei Hayadu, replies Issei. Leon Dahl. I reply also. Nice to meet you, he nods. Although I don't see why he needs all of us if Asia's boyfriend is here. I'm not her boyfriend, deadpanned Issei, and we can never be too careful considering who she is. Fine, sighed Stephen, but I also came here with orders for you. And that'd be. While we have our own problems, it turns out that the whole fallen angel mess is part of something bigger. Seems though some of the supernaturals are itching for a fight. Something a lot of innocents are going to be caught in. And that's why we're here. I answer. Not if we're stuck fighting each other. Added in Tsugumi, we're going to need a deterrence. Deterrence? I ask. We have the largest number of sacred gear users of any faction and the most magic users outside the Mage Association. I know, since me and Issei are two of them. Artificial sacred gears, she emphasized. When we were about to argue, the half-slime intervenes. There is nothing wrong with showing our stuff. That's why the council wants you to humiliate Riser. I and Rias peerage can beat his peerage if you're insisting. Issei defended. No, they want something one-sided. Riser is one of the rising stars of the underworld with a 4-2 win record in the rating games, and 2 losses were forfeits due to kiss-butt politics. They want you to shove the fact that humans can beat supernaturals easily into their faces. And how am I supposed to do that? Stephen glances at Tsugumi, who nods and takes out a case. I may be new to smelting aura, says Tsugumi, but I know modern weapons, and with Myrmidon tech, magic, and aura we managed to rig all of this in time. It's not my fighting style. Issei frowned. Tsugumi smiled. If you're allowed to use any weapon in a raiding game, then does that include military grade? Issei after that. Interesting talk. We go into the cabin. It seems as though Steve already introduced himself, so we skip greetings and we prepare to sit down to eat. Everyone is here except for, hey guys, where's Aquino? Rias looks at me oddly. She's going through some things in the storage shed. What kind of things? I'll go get her. No. She yells at me. Everyone looks at her. She shuts herself up, but that look says something is off about Aquino. I decide to go check it out. Aquino, before I was a devil, I was a half-fallen angel. My fallen angel father married my human mother, a shrine priestess. Then his enemies killed her. Then I was thrown out by my mother's family and nearly got killed by them in turn. I owe Rias for my life and giving me a home. But even though I can't get over it, this stupid one black wing is something I can never forget. I even have to clean it every so often, and Aquino, it's time to. Issei saw me. Issei saw me. I put my shirt back on and jump back. Only Rias and the peerage was supposed to know. Behind the shed I see our newest member look at me in surprise. I have to go, I say, trying to leave. Aquino-senpai, wait. He answers, catching my arm. Tell me. Why do you need to hide something like this? Mr. Himejima. You are for what you did to that poor girl. SCCCCKKRTTT. You die in hell with that beach of sister of yours. X the Red River of Death in bad Spanish A/N. Finishing chapter 6 took a longer time as I had to keep rewriting constantly to get the OCs to fit in. Like I said, I regrettably or not had to tweak them a bit for story's sake. Special thanks to Fallen Angel for Leon Dahl and Shadow 1999 Boy 11 for Steve Gailey. I got 2 ideas I want your opinion on. What do you think of an XCOM and Warhammer 40k crossover? One set during the Golden Age of Man, aka the Dark Age of Technology, where after the defeat of the uber-ethereal they expanded using ethereal technology as well as power of the gift and melt. I've also been considering doing a Naruto fanfic where the people of Yuzu and the Uzumaki seeked refuge in Konoha rather than scattering to the 4 corners of the globe. It bugged me how only the one Kushina Uzumaki was in Konoha despite Yuzu and Konoha being so intimately linked. Review or PM ideas and opinions XO make. Kiba's training part 4. Kiba, an acquaintance of mine, is willing to test your abilities. Who is he? A red-headed man known for sand attacks. He is off-kilter slightly, but he is competent. Just follow these directions to find him. Sometime later, why the hell is there a desert in the middle of Japan? You prove your existence to me. Wait, who is this sand coffin? Crunch. Issei, I don't feel right. Something is wrong about me. Yes, I am a self-admitted pervert and the 3rd member of the perverted trio, but something feels. I can't explain it. I honestly can't. I go to Kuo Academy in Kuo City with Matsuda and Motohama. Both keep trying to peep on the kendo club all the time and are the ones that complain that they don't have girlfriends despite the fact that they being perverts is the elephant in the living room. I agreed. At first. But when this cute girl named Yuma Amano asked me out on a date out of nowhere, I'm starting to feel iffy. This unshakable feeling is driving me nuts. I don't feel motivated by lecherous thoughts anymore, and I've been distancing myself from Matsuda, Motohama, and the Fujoshi girl Kiryu more than I thought I would. Even as I think I sit at my desk just staring into my bento meal. I've been eating it slowly and it's gotten cold already, but I still eat it. It's a new recipe, but the taste is so familiar. Shaking my head, I placed my chopsticks down and leaned back on my chair. I'm going nuts. It has to be. Before all this, my parents had insisted I go to a shrink because of my tastes, and right now I'm starting to think they were right. Suddenly I hear a commotion. A few kayas and some ayas, based on a ratio of a kaya ration of 1:5:1. I can safely bet that it's yet another bishi walking around charming girls just by being there. Sigmar, how I hate them. Sigmar. Shouldn't I have said God, how I hate them? Never mind. From the corner of my eye I see said Bishounen is in fact the new student Tsugumi Saishuru. Short dark blue hair, red eyes. Of all the teens I know, only he seems to wear the cheap school uniform like it's an actual dignified suit. Yet for some reason he is now walking through the crowd of girls with hearts in their eyes. Tsugumi is actually scanning the room before focusing in my direction. Is he looking for me? Why does he have a yellow ribbon in his hair? Why is he frowning? He says, walking up to me. I respond. You need to come with me. Why? There's no time to explain. Now I see something is wrong with this guy also. As if he's the cause of this. You better explain. I insist. I know that there is something with you and I am not going anywhere till you tell me. Right here. Right now. Everyone is looking at the scene we two are causing, but I don't care. I think I'm making headway and I am not going to give up. To hell with this charade. I'm a Myrmidon and what the hell am I saying? The F is a Myrmidon. Issei, glared Tsugumi, I can tell you right now and you might not like what will happen, or we can take the easy way out by you coming with me without the consequences. My resolve is clear. With a hardened look I look at him with an unflinching gaze. Now. All of a sudden he's turning red. The hell? Shamin, he was all serious a moment ago and I got some shy pre-pubis indie girl blushing in front of me. F fine. And pretty boy is stuttering. Why is he holding me up by the collar? Just so you know, I am not in a relationship right now. That doesn't even make any. Tsugumi is kissing me. Oh my god, Tsugumi is kissing me. Why in Sigmar's name is this? How long was I out? Chapter 7 of all the ways to be woken up, it had to be a kiss on the lip. Grit. My stupid fake self just had to make a scene. Now the entire class, hence the entire school, shall hear the news that I have a preference for men despite the fact that Tsugumi is indeed a woman. It's too late to really explain this. With the perverted duo slack-jawed as much as the rest, I can only shrug. Was it necessary? I whispered to her, her face still very close to me. This is why I hate magic, she whispered back in distaste, always with the conditions. We separate, more like pushing away from each other, and it seems as though we're going to have to improvise. Issei, sputtered Matsuda, are you two really? I sigh. Tsugumi is someone I know. And I. No way out of this one. Speechless as it was, we leave. Rumors and lies are fine. I'm more concerned with what the hell happened. After Akino told me about her past, all of a sudden I wake up as one of the most stereotypical heterosexual males in existence. Going down the hallway, we finally end up in a blind spot that I remember that she had found in the last thing. What happened? I ask. Someone screwed with time and space. Myrmidon doesn't exist or shouldn't have existed a year ago. Only the elders and the high-rank elite could catch on, and they've been reactivating any Myrmidon they could get. You and me included. Any idea who? We don't have much to go on. I managed to get Doll, Victor already remembered, and got his wife and Steve back into the fold. The intelligence division is a skeleton, and that skeleton is putting all its effort in locating others. Then count me in. We can't, but Asia. The nun. My sister. My eyes narrow. How is she? Before I came here I did the oath ritual. The thing, she blushed, we could have done instead of us swapping spit back there. Your parents are in the know and have got her in your house. I nod. I'll get back to class. Oh, and Tsugumi. Yes. Sorry. I know how a first kiss is always special. She shrugged. It's fine. I guess. Dimon, I feel like CV now. Well, to make it up to you, how about we go eat someplace? I offer. WWA. She turns red again. You're asking me out on a date. What about Dash? What about who? I say. What about? She blinked. I thought you were already dating someone, not the Ravenhead. We were interrupted by Kayas. Lots of them. I knew the perverted moron before me was marked for death by Rainier, but I doubt that she meant that. Was I ever in a relationship with anyone beyond Calamine? I look at her and know that she is not lying. I was about lift a finger, but it seems as though the Fujoshi and Yaoi fangirls have caught up to us. Someone really did press the reset button and its effects are still there. Shrugging, I look at her and she glances back and sighs before nodding. Issei x Tsugumi. But he's a pervert. Why is the second prince with him? It can't be. No. Tsugumi x Issei. I am yelling. Hey, there's that guy again. People. I yell out. People? They calm down. Somehow. Let me just set the record straight. I glance at Tsugumi. I am now dating Tsugumi. I take out the dirty magazine stuffed in my pocket. This isn't the real me. For emphasis, I toss it into nearby recycling bin. With my free hand I grab her hand and hold it out. This is. The best lies are half-truths. No one is going to be suspicious if we're together, be it nosy gossipers or informants under a devil's payroll. Issei x Tsugumi. Tsugumi x Issei. The best lies are half-truths. Rias, well, that was interesting. Of all the people I expected, it turns out Issei is gay. That's a problem. Just from looking at him, I find him interesting somehow. Maybe it's that strange power I sense from him. He's human but, well, different. Kaneko, did you find anything useful? I asked to my little cat Rook. She shook her head. I thought he was a pervert. Issei, the thing about smelting aura and Myrmidon self-development is that it's a catch. Creating and enhancing a smelting aura requires intense training, which requires an enhanced body, which needs a smelting aura to exist. As I wait to meet Rainier on a road bridge adjacent to Ko Academy, I struggle with my own aura. The control is there but the form and power isn't. My right hand shakes and my left struggles to stamp it down. From what Tsugumi told me, it's becoming a problem. Our powers are atrophied and it'll take time for Myrmidons to recover. Both me and my girlfriend are wearing smelting aura rings to maintain our growth, but I doubt I can even call out anything beyond a sword and gauntlet vambrace. At least if the fallen angel does anything, I can use the M9 handgun Tsugumi lended me stuffed in my waist belt. Issei-kun. Running at me, hand-waving, is the cute form of Rhaenyra. The smile seems pure and innocent, but I can still feel a bit of leaking killer intent. Issei-kun. No, not killer intent. Suspicion. Victor magic is a FING beach. That's why I like to stuck with smelting aura. After paying 50 of my men to walk into a warehouse spray-painted with sigils and giving them aura jewelry, did I have to cite some nonsensical chant for 3 minutes while they stared at me like a crazy man? At least with Ryuki it was fun. Since we are pretty much outsiders, I've been told by the elders to keep it that way. For now we are just hunters. Mere hunters that happen to know magic. With the warehouse now empty, I just stand here holding the bakken I like to use for training. Time to time I praesis alone, and despite the whole cosmic reset, the old habit carried on. Mifune is speaking with the primordials about this, while the once imminent civil seems to have been postponed for the time being. As much as I try, many are determined. Some want to war with the supernatural again, others seeming to like the idea of world domination. The latter is viable. I know for sure that Asia is going to stick out like a sore thumb even more than usual. Our new goddess-to-be could be the answer to everything, just like how Sigmar had forced the supernaturals into the shadows and brought civilization to man. With YHWH of this existence less a person and more of a concept, many of our former Judeo-Christian members think that she could take over the title and make a better god than the enemy leader during the Sodom Gomorrah campaign. Nezarene having yet to return, more and more have started joining my group. One day maybe will Asia ascend to higher plane of existence, but for now, as Myrmidons, will protect mankind. Victor, we need to talk. Even against our own. Even with a wooden sword. Elder Ryu, I answer, I'd prefer right here. Right now. Even against men like Ryu.